Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Truth Hurts Boxing Podcast, and I'm here just to bring you all the boxing news that I can find, review some of the fights as well, and also just go into some of the big fights that we've got coming up. Okay, so today all I want to do is go through this Lineal Championship talk with Tyson Fury. Quite interesting today. Bruce Buffer rebuffs any lineal title talk, and he's pretty much had enough. Quite scathing in his comments about the lineal championship. Now, obviously with Bruce Buffer, he's more on the Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua side. He always does their introduction, so you could look at it to say that there might be a conflict of interest, because we know that the Wilder and Fury fight is going to be on, like, it's more showtime. But if you listen to what he's actually saying about the lineal title, he's saying stuff which I've been thinking anyway. Now, shout out to Tyson Fury for what he's done in his career. I've got no bias at all against him or anything like that. He's had a fantastic career so far. Great comeback and everything like that. But this lineal thing has been a little bit of a sticking issue for anyone that would listen to me. I just could not understand where it was all coming from. First, my thoughts were, okay, well, if you disappear from the sport, in unfortunate circumstances due to mental health, then, Anthony Joshua beat Klitschko, so doesn't Anthony Joshua become the man? But that's not even right either. Like, literally, Vladimir Klitschko was never the lineal champion himself. The last lineal champion was Lennox Lewis. The last undisputed lineal champion was Lennox Lewis, and this is why none of this actually makes sense. This lineal, I was listening to the interview between the sit-down case that they did in America, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And it was kind of confusing me, because Tyson Fury was going into the lineal heritage and stuff like this. And one thing that Buffer said, it's not Bruce Buffer because he does the UFC. But yeah, so one thing he did say was that, okay, the last one was Lennox Lewis, he had all the belts. Then Vladimir never had all the belts at once, because all the way through Vladimir's reign, his brother Vitaly had that title. So that means he never had a chance to be undisputed. So if you haven't had a chance to be undisputed, that means you haven't won all the titles. That means you're not a lineal champion. Vitaly Klitschko never beat Lennox Lewis. He lost the fight. So there hasn't actually been a lineal champion since, like, Lennox Lewis. So it's confusing. So I'm just here just to say, for me, there's just been a lot of tomfoolery going on. There's a lot of people just listening to it, kind of like, if you listen to, for instance, ESPN, and they're obviously right behind Tyson Fury, and rightly so. That's their guy. That's the guy that he fights for. He fights for ESPN. Now, the way that they're getting behind this lineal without actually doing any of the history, how on earth can you be a lineal champion when there's one title that still hasn't been won? There's only been one for the last 20 years, I believe, and that was Lennox Lewis. Now, if someone's got anything else to say about that, I want to hear what you've got to say, because, as I say, it's not Bruce Buffer. I always forget his first name. This one, 'cause I'm always thinking UFC at the moment. But, like, in general, he's completely right from what I see. Michael Buffer. So yeah. So Michael Buffer's now just come out and he's just said, forget all this, forget this lineal championship. You haven't beaten Lennox Lewis. I don't understand. Let's put this to bed. He's getting quite, not annoyed by it, but I think he's just like shooting it down. What he's trying to say is, when there becomes a lineal champion is when there's an undisputed championship fight, and that should be between the winner of Tyson Fury and the winner of Deontay Wilder, and they will be fighting, hopefully AJ's got the title by then, they'll be fighting AJ, and then that will become the undisputed lineal champion of the world. Undisputed heavyweight champion first and foremost, and then lineal championship. So I'm just telling you all the truth, as to what are we jumping onto just because Tyson Fury's told everybody that he's this lineal champion and everyone's jumped on the bandwagon. I think there needs to be people starting to do a little bit more of their due diligence and looking into it a little bit more. And if I'm completely wrong, and Michael Buffer's completely wrong, then please leave your messages at the bottom. I'll try to get through to some of them as much as possible, just to see how on earth we can be wrong when he hasn't won all the titles. And at the moment, he's got an invisible title. And if anything, the undisputed champion with the most titles is AJ right now. Deontay Wilder's got the most prestigious one. And in all fairness, unfortunately, due to stuff that are out of Tyson Fury's hands, he had time off, and he came back. He won 2 fights that no one will remember who he fought. Then he had a draw against Wilder, and then he's fought 2 guys again who we haven't really heard of. So yeah, all this lineal. Let's see what you guys think, and please smash a like. And yeah, I'm on to the next one. See you later.